Welcome back to the lawn. There's a sunset in the suburbs, the grass looks sharper, and that familiar groan of zombies echoes in high definition down the driveway. Plants vs Zombies Replanted is here, and today we're digging in to see if this remaster truly blossoms or simply reseeds old ground. Hello everyone and welcome back to Geeks Vs Geeks. I am here back as promised to talk more about the new Plants vs Zombie game as we get ready for tomorrow's release. So let's dig into it. Fans of the Plants vs Zombie franchise have been thirsty for more backyard adventures, and the one-time king of mobile games that spawned various spin-offs and sequels has been diminishing for the past few years. And many people hope to see the series get some TLC, get a dose of fertilizer, and then be brought back to its former glory. After 16 years, Plants vs Zombies Replanted is the latest effort to bring one of the most beloved tower defense experiences back to life. It looks, however, that they are taking small steps, and instead of reinventing the genre, PopCap has opted to go back to its roots. Literally. The question is, does it blossom into something new and better, or is it replanting old seeds? It may seem like yesterday, but the original Plants vs Zombies game first hit the Apple stores in around 2009, a time when casual strategy games were new, rare, and few gamers expected a lawn full of cartoon plants to be redefining the genre. Soon, players across the world were managing sunlight, building tactical gardens, and defending their homes from increasingly odd, wacky zombie invasions. The balance between charm and challenge made the game pretty much an instant hit overnight. Now, 16 years later, Replanted aims to bring back that same DNA, but now with updated HD visuals, new sound design, and extra features to enhance the core formula without losing its personality. According to the development team, their goal was simple: preserve the magic of the original while making it feel fresh enough to live for another 20 years. Let's start with the fact that this is a remaster and not a remake. What this means is that they were building on top of the original game and reusing upscaled assets and adding quality of life features that have been introduced in later versions of the series, but were never present in this first game. At its core, Replanted plays exactly as you remember of the original Plants vs Zombies, at least if you're like me and it's been a while since you played it. You plant, you defend, and manage your resources against the steady waves of zombies that gets tougher, faster, and weirder as the game progresses. As you progress, you unlock new plans and features to increase your survivability in each increasingly challenging level. One of the first changes is that at any time you're able to go back to any level in the adventure mode that you played before and play with some of the upgrades you already have. It's a fun way to show those zombies who's boss using your new powers, and then at the same time farm money that you can use to unlock more special powers from Crazy Dave's trunk. In many ways, the strategy portion still feels tight and rewarding, though there have been some new tweaks that subtly seem to change the pacing and balance. The game comes with all levels from the original: day, night, pool, fog and roof, but it also has some secret levels included that were scrapped previously, which are a nice add-on. But it's also pretty clear why some of these were scrapped, as they did not always feel well balanced or very exciting or gave you a good challenge. I liked the addition of the fast forward option as well, but testing it I noticed that there was something weird going on. I first noticed it on the Switch. When you were speeding up the game, the audio music would also speed up. I had not noticed that on the Xbox, but at later inspection it seems it's happening there as well, at least to some degree. And I'm not sure this is the intended effect. There was a second issue that I had with the Switch, that's when using the touchscreen to place the seed or packet plants. See, on the original on the iPad, there was this highlight that would show you where you were placing the plant, and it would not let you put it under any other spots than those specific intersections. On the Switch, however, this is missing, making it a little harder to see where you're putting your plant, especially while you're in a rush. Additionally, it let me put plants in squares that were already occupied. This wouldn't do anything, but then I had to actually realize I put it in the wrong place, and tap the correct spot so that way the plant would do its actual thing. When dealing with a monster wave and you're a little bit in a panic, this is kind of detrimental to the experience. What I did enjoy, however, on the Switch 2 was the seamlessness in which you can switch between controller, mouse mode and touchscreen during gameplay at any time. There was no need to go to the menu and change things. It was instant. Use the controller, touch the screen, use the mouse mode. It worked perfectly, though that cursor was kind of big, I will say. There also are a bunch of new modes. One of those is Cloudy Day, which introduces weather as a factor. When clouds roll in from a distance, sunlight becomes scarce and your sunflowers go to sleep. It's a fun sunless variation on the night levels, and it forces smarter resource management, and it really ups the tension in later stages. And then there's the Rest in Peace mode. It's a hardcore mode for veteran players that you get after unlocking other things in the game. Once you beat the campaign, this permadeath option challenges you to survive all the way through without any mistakes. One wrong move and it's back to the start. There's not a lot of pomp and circumstance with this mode. It is pretty bare bones. It says what's on the box. You have one life, there are limited lawnmowers and resources, and I believe Crazy Dave kind of determines some of your starter weapons, and then you just make it happen. See how long you can survive. Lastly, there are the secret levels, such as bonus levels that never been seen before, puzzle challenges, and there's even a China level. There's a bunch to unlock and mess around with outside of the campaign. Another thing added by the team was co-op and competitive play. In Replanted, you can now share the chaos with friends. You can defend the yard together or face off in head-to-head battles where one player controls the plants and the other commands the undead. It's a simple addition that fits perfectly with the game's personality. And though we have seen co-op gameplay before, it has never been nicer than now to see this remaster of the original game include the same feature. However, and this is important, I feel it's been a big and frankly inexcusable oversight to not include online multiplayer. Now I understand that couch co-op is probably the best experience for this mode, but in this day and age, the year 2025, there has to be an online option with a game that offers multiplayer. On PC, PlayStation and Xbox, we are just stuck with the local co-op sharing the same screen. Exclusive to the Nintendo Switch 2, there's game share support that will allow two players on different Switches to team up using just one copy of the game. This makes it an easy pickup for local fun, but it remains just that, local. Considering EA is a publisher of some of the best ever co-op experiences, like It Takes Two and Split Fiction, which include online play and the need of only one copy for a low entry price, they clearly have the experience in bringing this sort of gameplay to its player base. Moving on to presentation, sound and atmosphere. The presentation of Plants vs. Zombies Replanted is where we're going to see some cracks in its shiny veneer. And depending if you're a purist, someone with a keen eye and ear, or perhaps someone that reveres the series and is observing the on-screen action in every pixelated detail, there might be some things that could give you a pause. At first sight, the visual overhaul is immediate. Every plant and zombie has been lovingly redrawn in HD, and the environments now pop up in detail on 4K screens and even on my Switch 2 screen. The colors are bright and inviting. On every system I played, the game looked crisp, emphasizing its cartoony charm and giving great Plants vs. Zombies experience overall. Whether in the rooftops' evening glow or the backyard's calm green and blues, everything felt alive, and the UI overlay had moved around a bit as well, giving a better clarity of the screen. However, on closer inspection, it appears that there are levels of detail that were not given the same of treatment as other areas. Some things felt off, a little blurry even. Something like the seed packets. You can see that here on screen, where the text in the top looks kind of fuzzy and there are some artifacts and blur in the background of the grass. Minor things for sure, but this repeats itself through other areas in the game. Not that they are game breakers, but because other areas look so nice, and definitely were giving some care, it makes them stick out like a sore thumb. It makes me wonder why it seems that some areas were skipped the beauty treatment. I also ran into some graphical glitches, such when a zombie entered the house, the scene shifted to the right and a zombie showed up on a green banner left of the house. Clearly something that was not supposed to happen. While shopping from Crazy Dave's trunk in between levels, I could not see how much money I had unless I start hitting the bumper, and that gave me a fraction of a moment where I could see my current status of income. Clearly, again, a mistake. If I were to go into the trunk through the menu, everything was fine. A keen eye will probably find many of these sloppy details throughout the game. None of these things are super offensive, but again, they stand out against the other areas that were looking much nicer and seemed to have been given more care. It's almost like some artwork was given more of a spruce up than others. This lack of attention to detail continues with the soundtrack and the sound design, which overall is just as iconic as ever. If you ever played Plants vs. Zombie before, you instantly will recognize the whimsical music, which still sets the perfect tone for the game. But despite sounding excellent, it seems to be missing the dynamic build-up that contributes to a subtle tension as things get more hectic over time. Instead, we get the full composition right off the bat, robbing the player of the tension-building layers. Why is this? Did they lose maybe access to the stem files? Or was this an artistic choice? But if you know us, you know I'm not going to be dwelling on the negative for too long. Overall, for me, these problems are only highlighting the positives of the game. And when playing, I had a great time. I've gone through the Xbox version, some of the Switch 2 version, even an older build on the PC. And I got some good time in across these multiple platforms and never got bored, or worse, felt totally stunted by these issues. The game comes packaged with a lot of extras to enjoy for hours. From secret never before seen levels to co-op and versus mode, there is a lot to enjoy in this game. And I didn't feel that the team was skimping out on content, even though there are so many more choices to add to a game like this. There are also some extra options for alternative zombies, which have crab heads or sunglasses. There's even the pre-order 8-bit quote-unquote pixelated retro zombie. Heck, even Crazy Dave's muffled mumbling is back, reminding you that some things never change. During our interview at PAX West this summer, the team had indicated that it had no plans for DLC. You can see this either as a positive, because you would not be milked for content after, or as a negative, because there might have been so many other levels and modes you might want to see that you would have loved to have to be your choice for this remaster. So I do hope that we'll see a patch or two to address some of these minor issues and just get some more polish that really fixes the last few fringes on the product and give you the total package. So how does it perform? As I mentioned, I played a few different versions of the game, and Replanted launches across nearly every modern platform tomorrow, including PC, PlayStation, Xbox, and both Switch systems. The games seem to run very smoothly on every version I tested so far, and they all had pretty quick load times, and seemingly, to my unexperienced eye, had consistent frame rates. The portable play on the Switch 2 felt especially natural, and it's probably because it has more of a tablet feel to it, making it very easy to jump in for a few rounds anywhere. Now, I was not able to test to see if there was a proper support for ultra-wide screens on PC, because consoles do not support this format, and the PC version was not a build that I had. The only one I had was an older build that did not have that in there yet. So I cannot speak for how that will look, but I'm very, very curious. All in all, despite its, to me, minor issues, Plants vs. Zombies Replanted does prove that some games truly never lose their charm. It is a faithful, fun game that still feels surprisingly fresh to play. The updated visuals look great on the big screen, as well as the little one, and extra modes give ample opportunity for veteran players to return to the backyard and get some more Plants vs. Zombie in, while other newcomers might find a perfect new entry point to one of gaming's most creative strategy experiences, and a good reason to get this version of the game over all the versions that are on the marketplace. Some fans of the series will rejoice in seeing some form of life in the Plants vs. Zombies franchise, while others might have been hoping for more. But the decision to go for a remaster feels to me like EA and PopCap are dipping a toe in the water to feel the temperature and see if there is enough love out there for the franchise. Here's hoping it opens up the pathway to a brand new garden. For now, Plants vs. Zombies Replanted does not reinvent the series, and it doesn't necessarily have to. What it does do is remind us of why we fell in love with sunflowers, pea shooters and lawnmowers in the first place. It is now up to the players to decide if there is enough content to rebuy the game once more, and if the asking price of $19.99 is the correct one. Thank you so much for being here for this review. If you enjoyed it, please hit that like and subscribe. Check out our other videos, such as the one that is going to be up here of our interview with the guys from Plants vs. Zombies PopCap team at PAX West. We had a really good time talking to them. Also check out our website, geeksvsgeeks.com. You'll find a lot more articles there. If you want, leave a comment down below. Do you like what you see? Are you disappointed? Is there something else you're hoping it will bring? Share your experiences. I'm just going to ask you one thing. Please be nice, be kind to each other, be kind to yourself. Thank you very much. See you guys around to the next video. Enjoy it, and if you're going to get the game tomorrow, enjoy Plants vs. Zombies. Start digging, start fertilizing. You got this. Have a good day, everybody. See you next time.